Computer-generated chess problem 2724 by Chesthetica. White has a rook, a pair of bishops, a knight and a pawn. Black has a rook, a bishop and a pair of pawns. White is ahead in material, but his bishop on c6 can be captured by the pawn on d7. It seems like the obvious thing to do here is bishop captures pawn. This also attacks the rook on f5. Now if rook to g5, bishop to e8 check, rook to g6, bishop captures rook with mate. Black can last a bit longer by playing rook to e5, and then after knight to e6, threatening knight to g7 mate, rook captures knight, bishop captures rook, and whatever black plays, bishop to f7 mates. So there's no doubt that white can win this. But surprisingly, what you just saw is not the best way to proceed. There's an even faster way to mate, and arguably a more aesthetically pleasing way. Here's how. So black is attacking the bishop on c6. What you should do, totally counterintuitively in this position, is offer another piece to black, to the same pawn in fact. So now black has to decide. If pawn captures bishop, knight to g7 is checkmate, with a fork no less. If pawn captures knight, bishop to e8 is checkmate, now that the pawn moved out of the way. So what can black do? Delay a little bit, capture neither minor piece, and play instead rook to g5. So now knight to g7 checkmate is not possible, and bishop to e8 is not possible either because the pawn is still on d7. So the other bishop comes into play and captures the rook. Now knight to g7 cannot be stopped, except for pawn captures knight, which will result in bishop to e8 mate anyway. So there's nothing black can do. Even pawn captures this other bishop on g5 will result in knight to g7 mate. I can't be sure about you, but I actually prefer this solution compared to the other one. Thanks for watching.
Chesthetica's Book of Chess Constructs, Volumes 1 through 5. Available on Amazon.